So hello everyone, welcome to the next video on scenario based modeling. So in the previous lecture we have studied about the requirement engineering and the various type of tasks that we actually do with requirement engineering. Now in today's video we are going to see what are scenario based elements and why we require them, and how can we enhance the scenario that we have taken from the read from the user. So let's go through. Although the success of a computer-based system or a product is measured in many ways, user satisfaction resides at the top of the list. We have seen that in our layered approach about software engineering, in which the quality is always at the top of a particular requirement, right? We actually that scenario in any type of software engineering, we are more focused about one thing which is known as quality. So quality is that thing we cannot compromise. So user satisfaction can be equated to this word called quality. So if we want to understand how the end users or actors want to interact with the system, our software team will be better in a position to implement any requirement in a more meaningful way, right? So that's why we need to understand the scenarios, and we need to find out different aspects that are written in textual form in the scenarios. So how we do it? We do it with the help of three diagrams. Number one is a use case diagram, number two is an activity diagram, and number three is called as a swim lane diagram. See, these diagrams are not isolated. So we will draw one use case diagram. We will see one use case diagram. Then we will see how this use case diagram can be related to the activity diagram, and then we will see how this activity diagram is related to the swim lane diagram. Okay, we will see one by one. So let's go with one of the use case diagram. So in a use case diagram, what you can see here, there are certain set of elements. Okay, what are the different elements that are part of this use case diagram? The first is known as an actor. Okay, so this is an actor. Likewise, a camera is also an actor. Okay, these two are actors. Why they are called actors? Because they are either providing inputs to the system, or they are actually accessing the systems, right? Either they are providing certain inputs or they are taking certain outputs, right? So they are not part of the system itself. So what is the system then? System is anything which is being inside the boundary. So this is known as the system boundary. So this is the system boundary, and these are the requirements. So these are the requirements that we have captured from the user. So it has these are the elements of a use case diagram. So you show a use case diagram. In a use case diagram, you show actor with the help of a stick man or a rectangular shape entity, right? You show a system boundary with the help of a rectangular box, and you can write the name of the system on top of that particular rectangular box. Then you show the requirements. You pick out certain requirements. You don't pick all the text on the use case or the scenarios. You pick and choose those things that can turn into a functional element, and then you write those in an oval shaped system. These are called use case also. So these are the use cases. There are three use cases. One is for accessing the camera, second is to configuring the set of parameters, and third is for the set of alarm, to setting the alarm. So this is how this use case diagram is a superficial diagram, the first diagram that a user actually creates and try to understand what are the actors, how they are going to access a system, what is the system name, and what are different type of requirements. Now from this particular set of use case diagram, there are two things that still is unanswered, the first thing is who does what, who does what. That means if I having a homeowner, right? If I represent H as a homeowner and I say S as a system boundary, a system, and I use C for camera. So if I say what does homeowner do, what does camera do, and what activities does the system do, I don't know this, right? Second thing is, if I talk about activities, what all activities are, I don't know the list of activities that are part of this use case diagram. Okay, I don't know the activities, so this I don't know and this I don't know. So I need to find out a way where I can understand how these things actually come up. What are the activities first, and then I will decide who does what. The second comes first and the first element will be the next one. So how you create a set of activities? So each use case that we depict here, like 1, 2 or 3, will have certain set of activities. So let us focus on only the surveillance part. So let us see what all activities are there in surveillance part and how we map a use case of a surveillance with an activity that are related to surveillance. So we can do this with the help of a activity diagram. With the help of an activity diagram. So this is an activity diagram that we actually use here. In this activity diagram, what we are doing here is we are actually creating different activities based on certain set of for surveillance, right? Now for surveillance part, these are the set of activities that actually happens, that actually takes care. The first thing is the user enters the set of password and the username. Okay, then whether this activity will be dependent upon whether this is the right password or the wrong password or the right username or wrong username. So if it is a valid, if it is a true case coming out here, so if this is true, that means he entered the correct credentials, and if this is false, he enters something which is not true. So if it is not true, then he will be asked to re-enter the username and password, but this thing will happen only for a maximum number of tries. So now if the number of tries is less than the configured, he will be again going and entering the username and password and coming back again and entering it, verifying it. So if this thing is exceeds or it overshoots the number of time that he don't have to access, so there are no more remaining tries, so he will not be able to enter any more username and password. This is one of the scenarios. So this activity tells you this is the number one activity that you will do. Then it comes that if it is true that he enters a correct username and password, then he can select some major functions, right? So there may be other functions that the system might be implementing, but as of now we are focusing just on surveillance. So this is one function that we are showing here in the activity diagram. Beyond the surveillance, he may again have a decision box which tells you whether he can see various thumbnails or he can see a specific camera. So if he wants to see a thumbnail, so the system will look like this. If he has an interface, it will have certain thumbnails coming up here, and he can choose any one thumbnail. So when he chooses one thumbnail, the camera comes up. So he will see the camera now related to that thumbnail. So suppose this thumbnail was 1, so this is the camera 1 that comes up. So this will be something like this. Okay, so camera output is labeled on window, right? So this is what this thing talks about, and this is what this thing talks about. And he selects, or he can also have a list of camera. So he say camera 1, 2, 3, 4. So he select 1. So he select 1, he will again go to the camera view, the same thing. Then he can have a prompt for another view, and he can see the camera. Okay, maybe in both the ways, or he wants to exit, he can exit the system. Okay. So this is the activity diagram that we are talking about. So in this activity diagram, we are clear that for surveillance we can have multiple activities, okay, that are part of just the surveillance camera. But still, one part is still unanswered. The third part was who does what. Okay, this is the part which we talks about, that who does what. This is the part which actually remains unanswered. Now to answer this, we need to create different set of lanes, and it will try to see which activity done by whom. So if we can classify that these are set of activities that are done by homeowner, these are set of activities that are done by camera, and these are set of activities that are done by the system or interface, we can very well say that we can then we will know who is doing what. So this type of thing is done by a swim lane diagram. A swim lane diagram, like a swimming competition. In a swimming competition, each swimmer has to swim in his own her or his own lane. Likewise, what you do, you have a different lane for a homeowner, you have a lane for a camera, you have a lane for interface. So you designate certain activities like entering user and password is a part of a homeowner, and checking whether the username is correct or not is a part of an interface, right? Then giving the system back to the homeowner, and homeowner will do some of the functionalities here, and then whenever you need to generate the input, then activity falls under the preview of the camera. So likewise, you have designated each activity either to homeowner or to camera or the interface. So we have actually transformed a use case, a single use case. So this is a single use case of surveillance. We have written it clearly. Then we actually try to find out the list of activities that are part of this use case, and then finally we have created swim lanes to actually identify who does what. So in this way we filter out the requirement and make it more and more meaningful. Okay, so this was all about the scenario based description of a use case diagram. In the next we are going to learn about the class based diagram, and we will see how we identify a class and how we draw a class diagram. Okay, so this is an important topic. Let's see you in the next video. Thank you.